Welcome to this week's Hymn of the Week. This week we have hymn number 860, I'm So Glad Jesus Lifted Me. We don't have too much background about this. If we look at the bottom of the short tune here, we have text, African American spiritual, and music, African American spiritual. So let's look at some of the music, and I'll share with you what I know about this short spiritual. First of all, it is set up in the call-response style where a leader would sing, I'm so glad. And then the second group, in this case maybe the congregation or a larger group of singers, would sing, Jesus lifted me. So you get that call-response community feeling that's coming from the African heritage in music. And then that basically alternates, and then you get to a point where it's ecstatic joy, which after the I'm so glad Jesus lifted me, right here, singing glory, hallelujah, Jesus lifted me. And the thing is, it's important to understand that this is free. Sometimes it's hard to explain to congregations and even sometimes choirs that you can change the rhythms. You don't have to sing exactly what's there. I'm so glad. You could actually sing, I'm so glad, or something like that. So there's the freedom to improvise there as the leader. And often the response can be improvised too. But generally we're going to keep that, what we have here in the hymnal. So this was discovered, as far as we know, as early as 1971. It doesn't sound very early, does it, in music? In the Levis collection, Levis known as Lift Every Voice and Sing. I guess we could call it an alternate hymnal of the Episcopal Church. But I am willing to take a fair guess here that it existed a little longer, maybe in its oral tradition, but not so much in its printed tradition. And I think that's important for us to understand when we're considering this. Also, I think we have a blur between gospel as well as the spiritual. Because this gives, it's not just absolutely pure spiritual. It has the feeling of the gospel, somewhat harmonies, but also the rhythms are more, I think, sometimes leaning towards gospel. So let's take a look at what we have here musically. We're in the key of G, and in this tune we're using the first three major notes of the key of G, G, A, and B. I'm only looking at the melody notes here if you're looking at this musically like I am. And then there's also one additional note here, and we're going to find it. It's the F sharp, which would be in measure 2. Jesus lifted me. So we got these four notes going on, and this is called the leading tone on the 7th scale degree that leads into the tonic or the G. It's interesting that something, particularly when you're thinking of blending these two styles together, or even merging them, that you're only using 4 notes. Well, here's what's interesting. If we open up ELW and we go to 567, we see an interesting possible correlation. This is a chant, Yam Lucish. Here as that chant to you before the close of day, an evening hymn. Absolutely beautiful melody and chant. But isn't it interesting that I'm So Glad Jesus Lifted Me uses the exact same pitches, G, A, B, and F sharp. So there's a possible correlation there. Maybe they heard the chant and they translated it into their medium, whoever those people may have been. We're claiming African Americans and spiritual, but we're not really totally sure. So whoever it was possibly did that. And the other interesting possible correlation is the theme of protection and divine protection. Also the theme of divine direction that is in both of these. And you can hear, if you have a chance, I encourage you to turn to 567, take a look at it. To you before the close of day, creator of the world, we pray, your grace and peace to us allow, and be our guard and keeper now. Here it's a little more, it's a different idea, but it's the same concept that Jesus is lifting us, that divine direction and protection is there. So, let's give it a shot. I'm so glad Jesus lifted me.